There is a moment many of us know well. You buy something new, a phone, a watch, a piece of clothing, something you've wanted for a long time. And for a little while, it feels good, exciting, fresh, rewarding, but then quietly, the feeling fades. And suddenly, the thing that once felt special becomes normal. Tonight, I want to talk about the connection between possessions and happiness, why material things affect us the way they do, and why lasting well-being often comes from somewhere else entirely. Modern culture often teaches us that happiness is waiting just beyond the next purchase, a bigger home, a newer car, a better device, and to some extent, possessions do matter. Research by psychologist and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman and others has shown that financial security contributes significantly to well-being, particularly when it helps people meet their basic needs and reduces financial stress. But beyond comfort and security, the relationship between possessions and happiness becomes more complex. More things do not automatically create more fulfillment. When we anticipate or receive something rewarding, activity increases within the brain's reward system. Neuroscientist Berridge explains that dopamine is less about pleasure itself and more about motivation and anticipation. In other words, dopamine helps create the feeling of wanting. That means the excitement often comes not from owning the object, but from looking forward to it. The anticipation can sometimes be stronger than the experience itself. Psychologist Brickman studied a phenomenon known as hedonic adaptation. It describes our tendency to return to a relatively stable level of happiness after both positive and negative events. In simple terms, we adapt. The new car becomes the car. The expensive phone becomes my phone. The new purchase gradually becomes part of everyday life. And the emotional boost fades much faster than we expect. A commonly cited example of this perspective is actor Keanu Reeves. Despite his wealth and fame, he is often described as valuing relationships, generosity, and everyday experiences over displays of luxury. Whether every story told about him is true is less important than what people admire about him. People are rarely inspired by what he owns. They are inspired by how he treats others. It's a reminder that possessions may attract attention, but character creates connection. Psychologist Martin Seligman, one of the founders of positive psychology, suggests that lasting well-being is built from several key elements: positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. This is often referred to as a PERMA model. Possessions can support comfort and convenience, but they rarely create deep fulfillment on their own. Research by psychologist Gilovich has consistently found that people often derive more enduring happiness from experiences than from material possessions. Why? Because experiences become part of our identity. They create stories, memories, connection. A trip, a shared meal, a meaningful conversation, a run at sunset. These moments continue to live inside us long after they happen. Partly because possessions offer something immediate and measurable, it's often easier to buy something than to build a meaningful relationship. Easier to upgrade a device than to sit with uncertainty, loneliness, and discomfort. Psychoanalyst and social philosopher Erich Fromm described the tension as the difference between having and being. He argued that many people build identity around ownership, status, and acquisition. But deeper fulfillment comes from how we live, connect, and grow. The issue is not owning things. The issue is depending on them emotionally. Researcher Tim Kasser has found that strong materialistic values are associated with greater anxiety, lower life satisfaction, weaker relationships. Not because possessions are inherently bad, but because they cannot consistently meet emotional needs. So what creates more lasting happiness? Let's see. First of all, you could invest in experiences. Experiences create emotional richness, even small ones. Coffee with a friend, a walk in nature, learning something new. These moments build memory and meaning. Secondly, you can practice gratitude for what already exists. psychologist Robert Emmons has shown that regularly noticing and appreciating what we already have is associated with greater well-being. Gratitude interrupts the constant search for more. You can also focus on relationships. The famous Harvard study on adult development, led for many years by psychologist Robert Waldinger, found that close relationships are among the strongest predictors of long-term happiness and health. Not possessions, connection. And finally, you may try to notice the difference between comfort and fulfillment. Possessions can create comfort, but fulfillment often comes from growth, contribution, connection, and purpose. Understanding the difference changes how we live. There is nothing wrong with enjoying beautiful things. Comfort matters. Pleasure matters. But happiness becomes fragile when it depends entirely on what we own, because eventually every new thing becomes familiar. And what remains is how we spend our time, how we treat people, and what kind of life we quietly build day by day. So tonight perhaps ask yourself, what in my life brings me joy, even when nothing new is added? That answer may tell you more about happiness than any possession ever could. Good night, my friend, and good luck.